Hey everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this adorable and cozy farmhouse washcloth. It's super easy, very beginner friendly, and perfect if you're just getting started or you just want to practice your stitches. And even if you mess it up, you will have something useful. So let's get started. For this project, you'll need one skein of 100% worsted weight cotton yarn. I like to use cotton because it's a washcloth, so you can run it through your washing machine, make sure it stays clean, and it will be resilient. You'll also need a size H 5mm crochet hook, whatever kind of crochet hook you prefer. The metal ones, plastic ones, bamboo ones. I like these because they offer a little bit more grip. A little pair of scissors just to trim off tails. A darning needle or tapestry needle so that you can weave in the ends, and I use a stitch marker to show you some of the stitches, so that's why I have this here. You may not need it, but it's handy to have just in case. Now to get started, you're going to make a slip knot, so leaving a little tail that you can weave in later. Make a slip knot however you choose. This is how I do it. And then pull it onto your crochet hook. I'll show you that one more time. So with the tail in my right hand, I go over my index finger, bring the yarn that's still attached to the front and over my index finger, and then the back loop goes over the front and you pull it tight and you have a slip knot. Easy peasy. Okay, to start this washcloth, you're going to chain 24 stitches. Now to chain, you take your yarn that's on your hook, yarn over and pull through. That's one chain. Second chain, yarn over, pull through. 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 24. Okay, so now that you have 24 chains, that's your foundation chain row. We're going to go to row 1. For row 1, you want to skip the first chain and go into the second and make a single crochet. A single crochet is where you insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through both hooks on your both loops on your hook. Then you're going to chain 1 and do a second single crochet in that same stitch. So again, in the same stitch, you insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. That is your first set of stitches for row 1. Again, you skip a stitch and go into the second one and do the same thing. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and you're going to do this all the way across, and you'll end up with 12 groups of stitches. Okay, I'll meet you when we get to the last one over here. So if you want to pause the video while you get across here, that's fine. I'll see you at this end. Okay, now I'm going to do this last stitch that's right at the end of where I started chaining. So you just do the same thing. Into the last chain, you insert your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops, chain 1, and do another single crochet, and that is row 1. Okay, now you just turn your work, and for row 2, we're going to do that same stitch pattern in each of the chain 1 spaces that we made. So let's go back to this. Remember, this was the last chain over here. Okay, so I'm going to mark the stitch so that we know what we're looking for. So single crochet into this last chain, and then we chain one. Now in that chain one, I'm going to put my stitch marker so that for row 2 I know exactly where I'm looking. And it becomes easier as you work your way through it. You get more familiar with it, but this is a great way to make sure you start off on the right track. Then I do my last single crochet into the same space and turn my work. Okay, so my stitch marker is in that chain one space, and that's where I want to put my first set of stitches for row 2. So into that same space I'm going to insert my hook. Okay, now I'll remove the stitch marker so I don't have to fight it, and do my single crochet, chain one, and in that same space insert my hook and make my second single crochet. Okay, so that's your first set of stitches in this row 2. So you're going to look for that same chain one space all the way across and do the same thing. Now if you flip it over, it's easy to see. You have these 2 V shapes, and the chain one space is right in between. So if you can't use a stitch marker, you can always look for that space that way. Single crochet, chain one, single crochet again. And again, I'll show you one more time. We're going to do this all the way across. You look for the V's. There's a V, there's a V. We're going right in the middle in this chain one space and do a single crochet, chain one, and single crochet again. Now my yarn is fighting me a little bit because I frogged my work to make this video, so hopefully yours won't be fighting you as bad, but just keep everything loose-ish so that you can find all of your chain spaces and you'll be able to make it just fine. So go all the way across. Again, you'll have 12 sets of stitches, and I will meet you down here on the other side. Okay, now we're back at this last set of stitches again. So we're going to do the same thing. We look for our 2 V's and insert our hook, make our single crochet, chain one, and make another single crochet in that same stitch, and then turn your work and do it all over again. And you're going to keep doing that same pattern in as many rows as it takes to make the washcloth as wide as you would like. So you just keep making rows until you have a washcloth that's roughly square. So you can measure your bottom row and then see how many rows you need to do across. Now when we get to the end up there, I'm going to show you how to finish off this washcloth. So go ahead and make all of your rows to the size that you want and meet me at the end when you're ready to wrap that part up. Okay, so now that we've gotten to our last row, this is the size of the washcloth I want to have. We're going to single crochet all the way around the washcloth just to finish it off. When you hit the corners, you want to do 3 single crochets in the corner because it makes a nice corner. So let's get started. So I finished my last single crochet here. I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to go right back into this corner and make my 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm going to go across here with a single crochet and place it in every row-ish. Just make sure you single crochet all the way across. Kind of track how many you do to make it even on the other side. And when you get down to this corner again, you're going to do 3 single crochets down here. So just find a spot stick your needle in or your hook in and start single crocheting. And if you want to meet me at the end where we're going to turn, I'll meet you there. Okay, so now we're at this corner where we're getting ready to turn and go down the other side. So we want to put 3 single crochets down here in this corner. So insert your crochet hook as far into the corner as you can and do your 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now you've got this nice little corner that you can turn and continue your single crochets all the way across. Okay, so we're in this corner now, so we're going to do our 3 single crochets here. And then we're going to turn and keep going across. Okay, you're going to do this all the way around, and I will meet you when we get back up here where we started our single crochets. Okay, so I just finished my last single crochet down this last side. So now I'm going to find my first single crochet that I did, and I'm going to slip stitch into it, which just means you insert into that first crochet, pull through, and then you pull through again to slip stitch it together. Now it's time to fasten off, so we're going to yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to leave a little bit of a tail and cut off the rest of the yarn. And then we pull this all the way through. Now this tail, you're going to use your needle, and we are going to weave in this end back and forth just a few times to keep it from pulling out. So just start weaving in, go over a little bit and pull that through, and then you can start going a different direction. I find if you do it 3 different times in different directions, it's pretty steady and you don't have to worry about it coming out. Pull it through, and now make sure that is where you want it, and then snip off that end. And you have made your first farmhouse washcloth. Now you can wash this and block it so that it lays perfectly. Just keep in mind that this is meant to stretch and give and that kind of thing, because it is a washcloth. So don't stress about it being imperfect or anything like that. When you wash it and start using it, it'll be great and it will look lovely in any bathroom. Thanks for joining me.